And welcome everybody to this casual Friday edition of Tobs Talk. I'm Jake Donnelly. Thank you for tuning in. Nothing casual about the way the Tobs have been pitching as of late. Last night, a 9-1 victory. Quinn Atwood, starting pitcher out of Texas State University, went the first 5 innings, allowing just 1 run and striking out 3. 3 other Tobs went on the mound and combined for 10 strikeouts, including Julio Valdez, a returning player for the Tobs, who went 2 innings and struck out 4. Chris Williams had a very solid inning in relief, as well as Justin Walton, who pitched the final inning of the game, a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning for the eventual 9-1 win for the Tobs. Now, tonight's game is going to be against the Petersburg Generals. The Tobs beat the Generals 2 nights ago in Petersburg, Virginia, a 5-2 affair. So we'll see if the Tobs can take the first 2 games of the season against the Generals and improve their record to 3-1 after winning their last 2, including, of course, last night's game against the Morehead City Marlins. The Tobs offense was paced by Ben Schmucker, who drove in 3, as well as Doug Teagarden, who walked 3 times last night, including a couple of runs scored. The scoring got going in the bottom of the first inning when Drew Cole and Zach Callahan came up and got back-to-back singles to start off the inning. They then moved to second and third on a wild pitch. Doug Teagarden with an RBI groundout and Dalton Knight with an RBI groundout made the score 2-0. And Quinn Atwood would pitch very well through the first 5 and really never gave the Morehead City Marlins a chance to come back. The big inning for the Tobs was the bottom of the 4th inning when they scored 3 runs by way of 4 walks, and 1 hit batsman. The Tobs did a great job of staying patient at the plate and had some production from the number 9 spot. Justin Carroll out of UNC Wilmington had a couple of hits, including a nice double, an opposite field double over the head of the right fielder Simmons on the Morehead City Marlins. Tobs looking to continue that good pitching that they showed last night, and actually the Tobs have allowed 2 earned runs or less throughout their first 3 games, just 5 runs total through the first 3 games. Tonight's game is a BB&T Friday 500. Fans that come into Fleming Stadium can have a chance to win up to $500. That's right, fans, you can win up to $500, all thanks to BB&T. And if you missed Thirsty Thursday last night, don't worry, Friday is Thirsty too. That's right, select draft drink specials. So come on down to Fleming Stadium and enjoy yourself some quality baseball, some nice atmosphere, wonderful food, and everything that you love about the Wilson Tobs. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Wilson Tobs. You can like us on our Facebook page at Wilson Tobs, and you can follow us on Instagram at Wilson Tobs. So do that if you like your social media. Tonight's game, 7:05 start against the Petersburg Generals. Gates open at 6 o'clock. When we come back, we will have head coach of the Tobs, Justin Hay, who is in a very good mood with the Tobs having won their last 2, and we'll see if they can make it 3 in a row tonight against the Petersburg Generals. All that and more when we come back right here on Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas & Ferris on Greenlight Channel 2. And welcome back, everybody, to this casual Friday edition of Tobs Talk. I'm Jake Donnelly. Tobs Talk is presented by Thomas & Ferris, and you're watching it right here on Greenlight Channel 2. Alongside me now, head coach of the Tobs, Justin Hay, whose Twitter handle, by the way, is JustinHay41. Now, the Tobs are 2-1 on the season. Dropped the first game, but have won the last 2. And a real big reason for that is the pitching, especially last night, starting pitcher Quinn Atwood going 5 innings. You have to be happy with the way he pitched, especially seeing his stat line from Texas State University, which included just 1/3 of an inning on the entire season.
Wow, we're really happy with the way Quinn pitched last night. I approached him before the game, told him, hey, give me 5 or 6 innings and keep it close. Let's hand the ball to our bullpen, let our offense work, and that's what he did. When we recruited him for this summer, his coach told me, hey, he's not going to pitch a lot this year. We've got a senior-laden pitching staff, and he might not pitch, but the kid's good, and he's going to pitch for us eventually. He needs to get some work this summer. He said he's got a good fastball and a really good split finger. So I think he can work for you. I watched him in the bullpen the other day, and I thought, hey, this kid probably can start for us. So I was really pleased with what he brought to the table last night.
Yeah, I actually got to catch that bullpen the other night in Petersburg, which was pretty fun, and he did show that very good splitter, showed it off a couple of times last night. Was it really just locating pitches and throwing strikes? Only struck out 3 guys, but only walked a batter. Really just seemed to keep the Marlins off balance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he worked ahead, especially early in the game. Now, he got close to the 60-pitch mark, a mark he hasn't been at in a while. He got a little tired and fell behind and had to work. But early in the game, he was attacking the zone and making them put the ball in play and letting our defense work, a defense that's been really good for us so far.
Now, you could see him visibly tiring in that 5th inning when the Tobs had a pretty good lead. As a head coach, does it come into your mind to just get him through the 5th inning so he can get that win, or is that not something you think about in the dugout?
Last night it did cross my mind because he did pitch well enough to get the win. And that's something we want, that guy to get when he comes out and pitches well enough to get the win. I wasn't going to let him labor too long. There's a time when you have to go get him just to save his arm because he hadn't been there. And he was probably one batter away from coming out because eventually it is more about the arm than it is the win. But when a guy goes out and gives you that much and bulldogs through some tiredness, then we'll try to reward him that way.
It seems like 2-out lightning is the theme of the season thus far. 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning against Petersburg, which put the Tobs from down 2-1 to up 4-2. And then last night against Adam Quiles in the bottom of the 4th inning, Tobs had 2 outs with nobody on, and then were able to work 4 separate walks, including a hit batsman. What is it about the patience this early in the season that is just doing so well of a job for the Tobs?
Well, our hitting coach, Coach Billings, is really doing a good job preaching get fastball, hit fastball. And I think our guys are buying into it, as you saw with the amount of walks we've had. And, the guys that are getting on base. I think Dalton Knight last night was 0 for 3, but he had 2 walks and 2 runs scored, which is big. And run scored is the most important stat. So those stats are what really paying off for us right now. And like you said, it's helped with 2 outs that we got some runs, but it's because of our approach at the plate right now being pretty well.
And they like to say in these wooden bat leagues that the pitchers are always ahead of the batters. It seems like that's the case right now for the Tobs pitching staff, but the batters are putting pretty good wood on the ball, especially the number 9 batter, Justin Carroll, last night had a very nice opposite field double. He's just a young kid, 19 years old, out of UNC Wilmington, but he's showing a lot of potential thus far.
Oh, Carroll had a nice job last night. He didn't get many at-bats this season, kind of for the same reason Quinn didn't get as much innings pitched with a good ball club down at Wilmington, and came in, and he's, the good thing about having a kind of a shorthanded team right now is that these guys are getting a lot of at-bats. We really can't make any moves, and they're having to kind of battle through some work, and it's going to help a lot of these guys as we move through the season. I'm very happy with the way Carroll swung the bat last night.
Do you think it takes any pressure off of the guys, knowing that at the moment there isn't anybody to replace them in the roster, that if they mess up, they're not going to come out?
Oh, I think so. I think that, I told them, I said, guys, you're here early. You've got a chance to kind of get one step ahead of everybody, show me what you've got. Just relax and have fun. And I think that's been a big thing for our offense early.
Now, having fun, it seems like this isn't a problem this team is going to have this season.
No, I think that they're a pretty relaxed team, led by Doug Teagarden, who you spoke to yesterday. They love to relax and have fun, which is what baseball is about.
And I noticed on the ride home from Petersburg the other night, the taste of music on the Tobs, not exactly your flavor.
Well, that's why I bought a nice pair of headphones so I could tune that out on the way home.
All right. Well, Justin, thank you as always for coming in. When we come back, we will have Wes Berry, representative of BB&T, for tonight's game. BB&T 500. Fans that come into Fleming Stadium have a chance to win $500. If that's not incentive enough to come to the game, I don't know what is. All that and more when we come back on Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas and Ferris on Greenlight Channel 2. And welcome back, everybody, to this 4th edition of Tobs Talk on the season, presented by Thomas and Ferris, right here on Greenlight Channel 2. I'm Jake Donnelly. Thank you for tuning in as always. With me now, it's representative for BB&T, Wes Berry. Wes, you have a couple of children, 3 to be exact, 2 boys and a girl, and you've been out to the Tobs games a couple of times. Not yet this year, though, right?
Right. I've been with BB&T in Wilson for a little over a year now. With BB&T, 13 years total. But here, gone to several Tobs games last year with my kids after we moved here. Had a great time. They're 10, 7, and 2, so have a lot of friends that go out there, and they just kind of play around. It's a great family atmosphere.
Now, folks, I don't know if you can tell this with Wes sitting here, but he's not the smallest guy in the world. About 6'6", a former basketball player, but after this Tobs Talk today, he's not done with the Tobs. You have one more thing you have to do later tonight.
I'm excited about this, to get to throw out the first pitch tonight. My 7-year-old son's been playing a lot of baseball, and he may try to grab the ball from my hands and actually throw it. And my 2-year-old may actually try to grab the ball too once he sees what's going on. But yeah, I'm hoping not to do a 50 Cent like the other night when he almost hit the threw it in the dugout.
That's one of my favorite things about YouTube's going through and watching the worst first pitches of all time. There's a Carly Rae Jepsen from Tampa Bay where I think she threw it at about a 30-degree angle, and maybe one of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, who has the better arm, you or your 7-year-old?
I think right now I do, but he's gaining on me. He's gaining.
That's good. Hey, you're being a good dad. If he's gaining on you, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I'm worried about Carl Lewis. I don't know if you saw the Carl Lewis one that fell like 4 feet in front of him. So, yeah.
It can't be that bad. Our first pitch of the year kind of just sailed right to the backstop, so it can only go up from there. We're kind of looking forward, and we'll be able to see exactly just how good Wes's arm is tonight. Game starts at 7:05. Gates open at 6 o'clock. Now, a little bit more about BB&T. You've worked for them for 13 years, and BB&T is a big part of the Wilson community. You guys have a couple of events coming up. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. A part of our mission is to make the communities that we serve better places to live, and we have what we call BB&T Lighthouse projects, where all of our associates go out in the community and do community service projects. We've got almost 2,300 employees here in Wilson, and so we have a lot of projects that we're right in the middle of, and some of them are actually already finished. They range from in the school system, going out and helping in the schools, beautification projects. I know my group in particular, we worked on a local elementary school and putting out mulch and trying to help the school look a lot better. And then we turned right around and we donated the tools that we used to the Habitat for Humanity Restore, so they'll be able to sell those products and then make some money and put that to good use for Habitat. So I know, like Wilson, the Crisis Center, the Wesley Shelter, the ARC, I mean the Spot, we could go on and on and on, but just about every nonprofit organization in Wilson is affected by the Lighthouse projects in some way.
BB&T, a great part of the Wilson community. Tobs are very proud to have you guys as a sponsor. So thank you for coming in, Wes. Actually, one more note. Tonight it will be BB&T Friday 500, which means fans can win up to $500 at the game. I'm going to say fans will be excited if they come to the game. Just a raffle, right?
On a Friday night, free money, good baseball. I mean, what's better?
Not much. Actually, the fact that it's Friday is Thirsty too, so select beer specials as well if you enjoy that kind of thing. And if you do, remember to be responsible and bring a designated driver. Well, Wes, thank you so much for coming in. Tonight's game, BB&T Friday 500. Friday is Thirsty too. Select beer specials and fans can win up to $500. Game time 7:05 against the Petersburg Generals. Gates will open at 6 o'clock. You're listening to Tobs Talk right here on Greenlight Channel 2, presented by Thomas & Ferris. Welcome back to Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas & Ferris, right here on Greenlight Channel 2. I'm Jake Donnelly. Thank you for tuning in as always. And with me now, it's starting pitcher from last night, Quinn Atwood, out of Texas State University. The Bobcat went 5 innings, allowed just 3 hits, and 1 run. A very good showing, especially for someone who only had 2 appearances on the season and recorded 1 out. How good did it feel to get that start last night, and how good do you feel this morning?
How do I feel this morning? My body is hurting, but man, it felt good to get some outs. Like you said, I only got 1 out this whole year. It was a tough year for me, but it felt good to go out there and get some innings and help the team win.
And it had been a while since your last start, actually dating all the way back to high school, is that correct?
That's right, back to it's end of May, probably end of March was the last time I threw and I started a game, so yeah, it's really been a while.
Now, could you remember your pregame routine, or did you have to kind of go through it a little bit to get back into that pregame routine and get ready for the game?
Yeah, I was actually kind of joking around, having to ask around, so do I need to go start stretching now, or what's the deal? Do I need to start throwing? So no, I was all right.
Were there any nerves going into last night's game, knowing that you hadn't had a start and really hadn't pitched all that lately?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous at first, just because I knew it was going to be a pretty good little crowd out there, and I got out there and I was just focused on throwing strikes. That was my big thing. as soon as I threw that first strike in there, I was kind of settled in.
And does that 1, 2, 3 inning, which you were able to accomplish in the top of the first, really just get you into the groove of the game?
Yeah, it really does. You know, I want to be able to keep moving quick, keep the guys on their feet behind me, and mainly just get to our bats.
Now, you always hear pitchers talk about it's a lot easier to pitch with the lead. The Tobs were able to do that for the first time this season, and you rewarded the bats by pitching very well through the first 5 innings, eventually picking up the win. What is it about pitching with the lead that makes it so much easier?
Well, you really just feel a little more comfortable. You get out there, you have great defense behind you, so you just have to throw strikes because you know you have some runs behind you, and if you're giving up one here and there, you're still probably going to have the lead because your bats are swinging it great.
And you look very sharp throughout your entire outing, but seemed to visibly tired there in the 5th inning. What was going through your head? Just one more out, just let me get through this inning?
Yeah, I had to start thinking, slow down, use your mechanics, use your legs, because half the time I don't use my legs, and when your arm's tired, you got to start using your legs. Yeah, I was thinking, just get me through this 5th inning, give me a W, get the team a W.
And I actually caught your bullpen in Petersburg the other night. You have a very good splitter. Not a lot of pitchers have those. When did you start using the splitter? When did you really pick it up, and when did it become effective?
I actually learned it when I was about 12, and I actually learned it from Roger Clemens.
Who's that? Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he's got one of the best around, and he taught me the grip and everything, and ever since then it's just has a good little bite to it.
So not a bad teacher for Quinn, and it seems like he's learning pretty well, going 5 innings, allowing 1 run last night and striking out 3 Marlins, picking up the win. Tobs are now 2-1 on the season. Quinn, thank you so much for coming in here today. I know it's early, and as he mentioned a little bit earlier, body might not be at 100% this morning, so thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll have the final segment of Tobs Talk presented by Thomas and Ferris right here on Greenlight Channel 2. Well, welcome back, folks, to this Tobs Talk edition number 4 presented by Thomas and Ferris right here on Greenlight Channel 2. I'm Jake Donnelly. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Tonight's game against the Petersburg Generals, a 7:05 start with gates opening at 6 o'clock. Remember, Friday night is a BB&T Friday 500. Fans can win up to $500. If that's not incentive, then I don't know what is. Also, Friday is Thirsty 2 with select draft specials all night tonight at Fleming Stadium. So come on in as soon as possible and enjoy yourself some wonderful Tobs baseball and some wonderful Wilson, North Carolina atmosphere. Thank you to Wes Berry, representative from BB&T, as well as head coach Justin Hay and the winning pitcher from last night, Quinn Atwood, all for coming in. We know Quinn was a little bit sore, so I'd like to extend a very special thanks to Quinn for making it in here this morning. And so, folks, remember, one more time, you can follow us on Twitter at Wilson Tobs, like us on Facebook at Wilson Tobs, and follow us on Instagram at Wilson Tobs. Game time, 7:05 start against the Petersburg Generals. Gates open at 6 o'clock. Tobs looking to make it 3 in a row. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another edition of Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas and Ferris on Greenlight Channel 2. I'm Jake Donnelly. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you at Historic Fleming.